came into 2023 with a bit of a mission, a bit of a plan, and more exciting, start putting fighters away, prove people wrong a little bit. I've said, I'm feeling real strong, but the mindset's different. That killer instinct is here now, 100%.
You can start to see it now as the training changed throughout.
I picked up my S&C properly about a year ago. Last couple of years, but more importantly, the last year. The proof is there, we're doing something right. That level between British and world, I'm there, so's David Avanesian there, so it makes sense to fight him next. And that's a fight which people might think I'm going to lose, and they're the fights I want to be in.
Do you enjoy being the underdog?
I love being the underdog. I'm obsessed with proving people wrong. A lot of my success has come from that.
How do you beat David Avanesian?
By being Mikey Mckinson.
You got 100% knockout ratio since we last spoke. You've been putting them out.
Yeah, I had my comeback fight. I didn't want to end 2022, my best year, it was my best year, with a loss, so I really wanted to get out on the Bournemouth card in December. They managed to get me on that. My opponent came in 5 pound heavy, dangerous opponent. It was an opponent that was worthy of a 10-round fight, and I fought him over 6 rounds, so it was bit of a ballsy move by me.
He was a hard hitter too, right?
Yeah, I got offered a journeyman for the same money, the same deal, over this guy who had 18 wins, 4 losses with 14 KOs, something like that. Dangerous record. But people would have thought I would have took the easy option. I was like, no, let's take the harder option, and it paid off. I got a good win there, and then for me, I was in a sticky situation. I still am. Everyone knows I can beat all these fighters on points. Everyone knows I'm technically better than a lot of fighters, and I've got that brain. But I could come under the category being boring. To the casuals, the boxing purists would appreciate my style, but the casuals, I've got to be a realist, then it's not very pleasing to them. I can understand that. So I came into 2023 with a bit of a mission, a bit of a plan, become and more exciting, start putting fighters away. That was my plan, prove people wrong a little bit. And Rome came in March, all in the build-up. I was telling my coach, Miles Harding, who's one of my coaches, every day, and my girlfriend at the time, every day, I'm going to stop this guy, right? 13-1 record with 11 KOs, so dangerous but relatively unknown.
Have you said this about previous guys in the past, or is this now?
I've said I'm feeling real strong, but the mindset's different. That killer instinct is here now, 100%. And he looked like great shape, quite an unknown fighter, but great shape, very proud, from Brazil. Walked through him, I stopped him in, I think, the 6th round, but from early on I knew I was, and from round 1 I was going for it, Mm-hmm. And I just wore him down. And then 8 weeks after that I got to fight on the big Bournemouth card against a guy, another similar type level guy, coming off a couple of good wins as well, and I knew I had the ability to stop him. I've got that killer instinct now. In round 1 I dropped him heavy, and then he was kind of surviving, and it was just a matter of time, and I just again ground him down a little bit and wore him down bit by bit. His face was taking a bit of a hiding, and the ref kept having close looks and stuff, and in the end he jumped in. So the one thing that was missing from Mikey Mckinson, I'm starting to bring to the table now. So what more do I have to do to get that respect? People wanted to see knockouts. They've got knockouts now. So at the ripe age of 29, I'm starting to put them away.
Yeah, well, you can start to see it now as the training changed throughout. Are you doing certain things in the gym differently now with a bit more venom?
I picked up my S&C properly about a year ago. I do a lot of strength work with my physio, Cameron Brew from SCRX Physiotherapy.
They're brilliant.
I work very, very close. Oh, you've seen him a few times, haven't you?
Yeah, they're brilliant.
Yeah.
Could recommend them enough to anyone in Portsmouth.
Yeah, I work very, very closely with Cam over the last couple of years, but more importantly, the last year. And also, we brought Mark Coombs on board for my actual conditioning sessions, S&C sessions, who was a former pro in our stable as well. So the trust is already there, and the relationship and the bond's already there, and the strength work, like people working together, like Cam and Mark and me. Obviously, the proof is there. We're doing something right. So yeah, like that is one thing that's definitely improved over the last, say, 6 months, and it's still improving.
My name is Dennis McCann, professional boxer for Frank Moore and MTK Global. This is Fortress Boxing. A lot more protection. It's a no-brainer around your thumbs, around your knuckles, around my wrist. That's exactly where the problems are. They're very compact, so I feel like I'm punching hard with them on as well. And I feel like when you got sparring 14, 16 ounce gloves, the smaller wraps can't really. They're too small for the gloves. That makes sense. So these are a bit bigger, and they're getting the gloves a bit more. They're making them more compact. 1, 2, hook, go.
What are you doing in these sessions? For example, your standard week. How many sessions are you doing with a boxing and then S&C?
Yeah, it all depends on the week, because obviously some weeks I could be away sparring. I'm the type of guy that I don't have the luxury of sparring partners coming to me, so I have to get up and go something like wherever my dad sends me.
It's probably better though, in a way, right?
For me it is, yeah. And so each week changes, but obviously the runs are there. My runs are kind of fit in around my training. My sparring's priority, because I know how important that is for getting the right rounds. And then I'll see Cam twice a week and Mark once a week. Is my Sunday session, Mark, and it's the session I don't look forward to, but it's obviously working. And I'll see Cam twice a week, wherever that will be 2 just strength sessions or 1 strength and 1 recovery. Obviously, he is my physio as well. As it gets closer to fight, we step up the recovery more when I need it. So yeah, and then obviously.
And what do you do in the recovery sessions? You're talking like mobility, lots of stretching, just.
Yeah, he puts plans together for me. Like I've seen people in the past, like that helps with like a bit of like physio for me and little bits here and there. But when I brought Cam on board, would have been 2 years ago now. It like he's so professional and he's so knowledgeable. He puts together a plan for me. All I've got to do, and that's all of my trainers and all of my team. All I've got to do is turn up and do as I'm told. Really, I don't really look into it that much because the trust is there. With everybody, I wouldn't have anyone on my team nowadays that I don't trust and I don't believe in. You know what I mean? So yeah, like he's definitely doing something right, Cam. Mm-hmm. Definitely. And Mark and my nutritionist as well. Like if you see me on the scales in Bournemouth in my last fight, the cut it was the easiest I've made weight in 4 years.
Wow. Who's the nutritionist?
Greg Allison. He's been on board since 2017. We had obviously a couple of other people that have come on board to help alongside, but couldn't really work with and things like that. So, but Greg has been my nutritionist since 2017. Just before, maybe 2016 it could have been actually. But yeah, like the fact that I've been so busy, 5 fights in 14 months has been helpful for my weight management. So I fought March 17th and then again May 27th. So 9 weeks I think apart, like between them. So I went into camp really light. I went from camp to camp, so I was still light. And then I remember not having to lose much the day before the weigh-in and just being comfortable for the day. And you could see me on the scales. I was in the best condition I've been in years. So
and you're not killing yourself.
And I didn't kill myself. So I know I always say this, but shout out to my nutritionist, Greg Allison. But yeah, like I said, like my team are a very close-knit team. We all work together. We have meetings and things like that. We're very, very professional. And the trust is there.
So I've got a big question for your big Sunday session with Mark Coombs.
Oh, mate.
So obviously, we'll talk about the session, maybe like a standing one, what you could do. I'm guessing it's just beast mode the whole way through. What are you doing to fuel it with the nutritionist? I'm guessing he's going to be giving you more calories on this day. What foods are you eating from when you wake up?
So I'll tell you something, in a little insight into my last camp. Because I was so light and my weight was coming down so quick, right, I had to have a week of like trying to maintain weight, because my last week of sparring, so this was, say, 10 days before the fight, the beginning of the week, I had my second to last spar. I was too light to spar, really, and I felt terrible. You know, like there's a certain weight for me I don't like to spar below, because I start to feel a bit energy levels, and I wasn't as clear to Greg that week that my weight and I've got to spar, etc. So I sparred, and I had a really bad spar, terrible in fact, yeah, lost the spar. Like, I know it's sparring, but like the week before the fight, that's a little bit. And then I said to Greg, I got him on the phone, I was like, listen, it's because I'm weighing X amount, and I knew why. So Greg put a refeed into my diet, and I could eat well for 2 days, and in my last spar, I was a different person. You know, it's like Greg knows me and knows that, like, and stuff like that. So
how far is a refeed? Because it could probably be quite easy to just eat too much and then feel flat, or sorry, you know, feel you just want to sit at home.
I'll just add in more
Extra few meals.
Yeah, some more the carbohydrates into my meals, a little bit more of a packed out meal rather than the meal just to keep me going to the next, you know. So little things like that. I'm not one to say if it gives me a refeed, I'm not straight up to a takeaway and stuff. I'm not like that. It's still clean, still my diet foods, but just a little bit more packed, the foods. And I felt so much better for it.
Do you do your own cooking?
I don't cook, but when I'm in camp, I cook my food because it's just easier. Like, I lived by myself for a while and stuff like that. So yeah, I do, and obviously you've got to weigh it and things like that.
I'm guessing you got that down to a T now. Then,
Greg, yeah, but there's been a couple of times where my diet, I'll stick to it religiously. I'm very, very professional, and they know that. But there was, I think, the Rome fight. I was dieting, but I wasn't weighing my food, and I was thinking, I'm still a little bit heavy here. And Greg was like, "Are you weighing your food?" I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not."
Are you just going off of an eye, like that's a portion
like,
here and there?
Like judging it, and that was like 2-3 weeks out from fight, and I only just started weighing my food, and I was like, "Oh damn, that's why." So I'm still learning. I'm still learning, but I'm very, very dedicated, fighter, so like whatever people tell me to do in my team, I do it. I don't really cut corners and things like that.
What's the main food before a big sparring session? Or is there any sort of like carbohydrates you like to eat?
Not really, depending on time of the day. But I just, obviously, I'm always in a bit of a deficit regardless if I'm dieting. I plan the times I eat around the sessions I do. That's what I do.
And what times are you talking? Like 2 hours before a session you'll eat?
Yeah, probably about 2 hours before a session. Yeah, probably, because I've got to kind of ration my energy, you know, like I've got to conserve my energy. Right, this food's for there. Like, it's a bit of a weird one, but yeah, it's all about timing for me when I eat, because there's time, like you know, like fighters that can have real good runs on any sportsman on an empty stomach. I'll do fasted cardio, but I'm awful.
So you won't be hitting PBs.
I'll be super slow. Like I really struggle on fasted cardio, but I'll do it. But I'm not one of them that can get out of bed and hit a PB. No, like with no food inside my stomach. Everyone's different, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm the opposite. I feel better with no food in me, but I'm trying to teach myself now to perform better and do it on a full stomach.
Yeah.
Like, you know, obviously when you were training, I'm guessing you could do 2-3 sessions in a day, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to maintain all of these things at once, and it's a balancing act. You're at the pinnacle. You're number one welterweight in the country.
Yeah.
You know, so for all of these things for you, it's really intense. For me, it's like I can just go on a run pretty easily, but I'm performing, like, you know, for 6 minutes in the amateurs, it's nothing.
Yeah.
What run times has things gotten better? Your S&C, your what times are you doing? What weights?
I'm constantly hitting PBs in my strength and my lifting and stuff, because that's all new to me. Stuff like that. Like, since meeting Cam, I was never in a gym lifting like that. I've had S&C, but it's been different. So I'm always hitting PBs. That's scary when I'm hitting PBs when I'm trying to make weight and stuff. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm massive. But I'm still hitting PBs. My 5K PB I made when I was about 21. That was a long time ago. So I'm not. You've seen me run a few times, actually. You've seen me on the beach.
I was on a walk with the missus, and it was like, Ash. And I was like, what? Oh, it's Mikey. Just on the
probably
right.
struggling.
There, you looked all right.
I'm not the best in every area, but I'll get it all done. You know, I always get it done.
But also, boxing's completely different.
Yeah.
You know, like in your sparring, I've seen you do like, you know, pads and sparring. That's completely different to running a 5K.
But even in the boxing gym, I'm okay. I'm not the best in the gym, but on the night I switch it on and I perform. That's why I always say, like, me and my brother, Lucas in the gym is the best fighter out of the two of us. Out of the stable, Lucas is the best fighter, hands down. No question on that. On the night, I've been managed to have better opportunities, and I've been able to perform and look good on the night. He's still got opportunities to come. Obviously, he's English champion.
Fighting tonight.
This the 8th of July. This is when I'm filming this.
So this will be like 2 months away now.
Yeah. So but like his times are still coming. You know, like his opportunities and stuff like that. Because in the gym, he's the better brother.
So the guy he's fighting tonight, was it? I think you told me. So you boxed this guy in the amateurs.
Yeah, the story's quite a good one actually, because 2010. I always remember I was a featherweight, 57 kilos I was, and I boxed 6 weeks on the trot or 5 weeks on the trot every round of the CYPs back then. Is it called the NABCs? Mm-hmm. No, that competition it was. Boxed every round, beating everybody quite easy. Like, I was looking great. My best ever tournament as an amateur. Got to the final and I boxed Billy Pickles from Leeds. And it was back when it was computer scoring. And my shots wasn't scoring, and I was beating him hands down. You can find it on YouTube if you look hard enough. Mikey Ballingal versus Billy Pickles. It's on there somewhere, and he beat me on a very, very controversial decision. Like, I know you get the word robbery a lot as an amateur, so I'll just keep it as controversial. 3 rounds, but like I definitely won the fight. Like I definitely won it and lost the decision, and it was kind of, especially in the family. Remember when I got robbed by Pickles? You know, like a long time ago now. So Lucas is fighting a guy that beat me when I was 15. So that would have been 2010. So 13 and a half years later, my little brother's back for vengeance, you know, getting revenge on him.
And how's Billy doing in the pros? I don't know much about him.
He's 14-0.
Okay.
I think this is a step up for him fighting Lucas. Obviously, it's a step up for Lucas as well. You know, like he's defending his English title. But like, I'm so confident, and people that have seen my brother in the gym, people that have sparred my brother, you know, know the talent that he has and know how good he is. You know, so yeah, like I'm really excited for it, and like it means something to us. Like obviously, a loss that I had when I was a kid, like it doesn't really bother me anymore because look who's become successful. Like I've achieved a lot more than what obviously Billy has and stuff. So I don't lose sleep over that anymore. But the story's good,
and the situation obviously of the controversial decision and stuff. Yeah, it's a great story.
So fingers crossed he can get the job done tonight.
And how's your brother been this camp? Obviously you've been watching him.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen a lot of him this camp because, like, we're never synced. So, like, when I'll have a fight is when he's beginning a camp, and then I'll begin a camp when he has his fight. It's been a while since we've been in camp together.
Is that easier for your dad as well? I guess, obviously.
Yeah, probably because of the time put in and stuff. But me and Lucas used to live together, and it was always better when we was in camp together because of the food. He would be the chef, like, and stuff like that. I remember there was a few arguments that had between brothers when I was cutting weight and he was ordering a takeaway and the smell and stuff. So it was always good when we was in camp together.
Yeah.
But I've not really seen a lot of him this camp, because I fought, was it 5 or 6 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
I've been out ever since. I've rested my hand a little bit. Being a big puncher nowadays, I get little hand injuries. It's all new to me. But I've had a little bit of a rest, which has been good because I've been really busy. I had 3 back-to-back camps. 5 fights in 14 months is really busy for somebody of my level. So I've kind of had a little nice holiday and let my teammates, because it's not just Lucas, there's 5 that are fighting on the show as well. So
who are they?
We've got Matt King, who's having his comeback fight from a Southern Area title loss. He's fighting an unbeaten guy in his comeback fight. Like Matt, they don't make him like Matt King anymore. Like in boxing, he's a very old school fighter. We all have the same tattoo. Be Real. He's a prime example of that. Then we've got 3 debutants. We've got Katie Smith from Gosport. She's having a debut tonight. We've got young Bobby Pryor, who he was turning pro at fresh face 18-year-old. He had a bit of an injury, I think, on like a electric scooter or a pedal or something. He broke his wrists and stuff. So he's delayed it a year. He's 19. He's still a baby face. He's having his debut. Very talented fighter. Very skillful. And then we've got the really popular River Bowen, who's sold the place out tonight, having his debut. Very popular guy from Portsmouth. So yeah, it's exciting. There's 10 fights on the card, to be honest. So, but we've got 5 of them.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And are you passing the knowledge on to these guys in the gym? Obviously, they're still seeing the standard of you and your brother as well for their debuts.
I hope so. I hope so. Like, people can look at me as an example. I like to be a good role model. I'm very professional, and obviously I've achieved what I've achieved so far. But hopefully my teammates can look at me and ask me for advice and things, because I'm always there for advice. Obviously, I've been a pro nearly 9 years, and I've seen all areas of professional boxing, from the nitty-gritty of struggling to sell tickets to being flew business class to America to headline in the States, So, hopefully I can lead from example. And Lucas also, he's been a pro 9 years and stuff, so it's only going to benefit the team around us, our teammates and stuff like that. So, yeah. Hopefully.
And what advice would you be giving even people that are listening now, people that are amateur boxers or pro boxers? What advice have you got for them?
Advice? It depends who they are, how old they are. Me and my brother were fortunate enough to be in a boxing family. So we grew up in boxing. So the years where we see a lot of good fighters that didn't have their dad as a coach, for example, would just get to a certain age and they'd disappear from boxing and never see them get a job, learn a trade, and they'd just quit boxing. Me and Lucas were lucky that we always had that nurtured in us to be around boxing, and we never went away from boxing, So we were just stay with it, especially if you feel like you've got something. Stay with it, work hard.
How important has your dad been in your careers then?
Well, the reason we box is because my dad was boxing mad. He was an amateur boxer and stuff, and as soon as I was old enough, I knew my boxing stance. That's what people don't realise. It's not the last few years I've worked really hard and I've managed to get success and stuff. This is a lifetime of graft. I wasn't that successful in the amateurs. I was always good enough, but over 3 rounds from a small town of Portsmouth, it was hard to get success. But my dad's trained me and my brother. Although we belong to amateur clubs, my dad's trained me and my brother from very young. It was always me. As a kid, it was always me, the boxer, from young, 5 years old. And then Lucas started by watching me. So as soon as I was old enough to compete, that's when Lucas kind of got involved with it. And yeah, we're lucky that we were from a boxing family, so it was always around the house, and it was always our upbringing was boxing. For me, when I'd finish school and my friends would go out and hang around with each other, I would get home from school, eat, and go to the gym. I remember being in school still, having to wake up early before school. My dad taking us on runs at like 6 a.m. And then going home, showering, going to school, getting home, eating, going to the gym. So we was training twice a day in school, you know. We had it hard, but we're very thankful.
Yeah. Do you think your dad's finally getting the recognition now for all the hard work that he's doing?
Hopefully, because there's a lot of good coaches out there, but there's a lot of coaches that get handed good fighters. What my dad's done with me and my brother is from birth. So that's all him. Nobody else. It's all him. Obviously, with the help of my other coaches, Miles and my physio, my S&C, my nutritionist, everyone together. But obviously, my dad trains and manages me and my brother, and hopefully he gets the recognition that he deserves, because he's a great coach, a great corner man too. So yeah.
Brilliant. So there's so much going on in your weight category at the moment. I really want to just go into a few questions. First of all, Virgil Ortiz didn't make weight again.
Yeah.
What do you think about all of that going on again?
Firstly, you've got to feel for Stanionis. He hasn't fought for a while because he's been waiting on Ortiz, and then postponement after postponement. This is the third time Ortiz has pulled out because he's been hospitalised. Obviously, I was due to fight him last March. He pulled out 5 days before. Then 2 times with Stanionis. Obviously, there's lots of different speculations and things like that, so I can only judge it off what I've seen firsthand and what my experience is. Obviously, when I went over to fight Virgil Ortiz, in the States, they're called ceremonial weigh-ins. So the real weigh-ins behind closed doors at like 9 a.m. in the morning. Then the media one for the media, the cameras and stuff, we're already rehydrated by then. We're already probably half a stone heavier by then. So the morning weigh-in without the cameras and stuff, Ortiz didn't look great. Like, if I'm honest, he didn't look great. I've never seen anything like it. I was there like, let's be having this. He looks bad, at the time. The next day, a few hours later at 1 o'clock, or whenever the media weigh-in was, he looked healthier. The next day, he looked like a monster. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know what his rehydration is or how he becomes that monster the next day. I don't know. But he didn't look great, and he's obviously huge at 147. There's rumours that he should have moved up ages ago. There was rumours that he wanted to wait for the world title and then move up. I don't know. But I know he's too big for the weight, 100%. If his organs keep shutting down or whatever this is he's doing, he needs to do something about it. Or somebody needs to look into it and stuff for the safety.
Are you allowed IV drips for rehydration, or is that
over
not
there?
allowed?
I don't know. I've never had that. I'm not a clue. I listen to I'll do just whatever my team says, but over there I'm not sure.
I've heard stories about fighters that can obviously IV, it goes straight through, and they can rehydrate so quickly with all the vitamins, all it you're brand new. Yeah,
so that could be another speculation. Nobody knows, but maybe it's time. 3 times now, it's time to look into it for his safety more than anything. Because he's fought once in nearly 2 years against me, but he has, and that's because of his preparations keep being affected, and he keeps having to go to hospital, and his organs shut down and stuff like that.
You'd think for such a big fighter, you wouldn't be making these mistakes.
I know.
Even if he's probably got a nutritionist, they would probably be able to say to him that you can't make this weight safely. Like it happened with your brother, right? When he was trying to fight at a lower weight before. Yeah,
and it affected. So what are they gonna do? You got to feel for Stanionis. He hasn't been able to defend his WBA regular bout.
He won't get paid.
Exactly, bills to pay and things like that. So. I don't know.
Spence Crawford, July 29th, only a few weeks away. I'm actually probably going to post a highlight reel of whatever you're going to be saying beforehand, because I'm excited to hear your view. Obviously, you've been watching both fighters for so long now, and they're finally facing each other after however many years. It's just one of the biggest fights of boxing in a very long time.
Yeah. Who do I think? Who do you think? Are you allowed to say who you think?
I couldn't care less. Yeah, I'll say anything. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't know. I haven't got a clue.
So when I was out in Texas, I actually see Crawford, spoke to him and stuff, and he is not big at 147 at all. If anything, Spence, there was talk of him going to 154, like, so then maybe like big. But I think that plays into Crawford's hands, because look how good Crawford is. He doesn't have, like, he lives the life outside of boxing, which Spence doesn't. He does balloon up in weight. He's obviously been in a few road accidents as well and stuff like that. And it's the way you live your life outside of boxing is probably why I would favour Crawford over it. He's not the biggest welterweight, like compared to me as well. Like he's small, but he's a fantastic fighter that dedicates his life to boxing, and the proof's in his results. He's an unbelievable fighter. And don't get me wrong, it's a true 50-50, but if I had my last pound on going with Crawford.
Mm-hmm. I'm the exact same. I'm leaning towards Crawford for all the exact same reasons. And again, Spence, he is the bigger fighter. He can bang. But also when you see Crawford get stunned or get hit with a big shot, he goes through the gears and he comes back. It's going to be such a good chess match.
Takes Crawford maybe a couple of rounds and he figures you out and he just takes you out of there. I think he's a great fighter. And like, so Spence, like the two of them are probably in top 5 pound for pound of any weight class, but I'm backing Crawford.
Mm-hmm. And obviously there's probably going to be a rematch clause and stuff, so we might probably end up getting a trilogy with that. In that case, in that scenario, you've got a few others before them, and you being the best British welterweight, you're probably looking maybe at another big fight in the future. Yeah. What do you think of Jaron Ennis?
Yeah, I think is he fighting this weekend? He's got an IBF interim into all these belts, but yeah, it's like the last guy he fought, that Ukrainian guy, that Karen, I can't pronounce his last name. I've actually sparred. I sparred him out in Spain.
He's pretty good, right?
Yeah, he is good. And Ennis, like Jaron Ennis got like because he didn't get him out of there, he got a little bit of stick from it, and there was a lot of like trolls that are like. But Jaron Ennis is a great fighter. I think out of the two, because it's always Ortiz or Jaron Ennis. Nowadays, I'll back Ortiz because I fought him. But out of the two, Jaron Ennis is the more skillful fighter, the better IQ probably. But I think just Ortiz has probably fought the better opposition. Maybe he's fought that Mikey Mckinson. So, but Jaron Ennis is a good fighter. He's there. Who else have we got in the welterweight division? Well, I want to fight. Next, for me, I think the perfect fight is David Avanesian. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he lost to Crawford last time. I think he's 35.
He's had trouble at the weight as well, though, in the past too, right?
I'm not sure.
He's a big danger. That would be a great fight.
Very. But if you look at it, we're both better. Like he's Russian, but he's based over here, I think. I was due to spar him in November, and I was injured, so I couldn't.
How do you find it when you're due to spar someone that you'll probably be fighting within the next year or two?
Yeah, I don't know. At the time, he was training to fight Crawford, Southpaw and stuff, and I was due to go, and I was actually moving house, and I lifted something. I hurt my Cam told me what subscapularis, like something in my shoulder. But yeah, like me and him, I believe I'm better than British level. You know, it goes me, Esserman, then Congo. Esserman don't want it against me. Congo, I beat 2 years ago.
Would you rematch Congo?
Is it beneficial to me? You'd have to look at the numbers and stuff if it's beneficial. I think if I fought Chris Congo again, I'll stop him. Genuine. Michael Mckinson 2.0, I'll stop Chris Congo nowadays, no problem. So, like, that level between British and world, I'm there, so's David Avanesian there, so it makes sense to fight him next. And that's a fight which people might think I'm going to lose that. And they're the fights I want to be in.
Do you enjoy being the underdog?
I love being the underdog. Like, I'm obsessed with proving people wrong. A lot of my success has come from that. So, yeah, that's the fight. I know his team are interested in it. Mm-hmm. We're interested in it, so why not?
How do you beat David Avanesian?
By being Michael Mckinson. I think how prepared I was for Ortiz last year, I would have been a handful for anybody in the world. But the development since then, in my strength and things like that, like I genuinely believe, like I beat David Avanesian, 100%. I'm far too clever, far too durable, like far too tricky, awkward, so I really do believe in myself to go out there and beat David.
Brilliant. And what's next for you now then? Are you waiting on a day? Are you chatting to your team about possible opponents? Have you been offered anything?
No, I know there is talk between David's team and us. We're both interested in the fight. By the time this comes out, I may be in camp to fight him. Who knows?
Fingers crossed.
But no, like it's got to be worth it. I've had 3 comeback fights since Ortiz. A 6-rounder. I didn't want a 6-rounder. 2 8-rounders. I'm a championship fighter, so I've had 3 comeback fights against 3 proud South Americans, and I've walked through them. So I've got to have something big next. Like, there's not really much more I can do to warrant a big fight again.
Who's David signed with?
I don't know at the moment. I actually don't know. I know his manager, Neil Marsh, has got like me and him on Twitter. Mm-hmm. They're interested, very respectfully interested. Me too. So hopefully something comes off it. 100%.
Have you got any words for David directly if I was to post something?
No, not really.
No?
Not really. I'm a respectful guy, but they're the type of fights that I want. So, like, I could sit here and call people out and stuff, but you've got to think of it as a realist. In Britain, who is there? If Echo Esserman don't want to fight me, Chris Congo I've already beat. Conor Ben's got all of his stuff going on. There's nobody. So where does that leave me? The perfect name to fight is David.
Would you want to do that in England?
Yeah, in England, it makes sense. He's based over here.
Mm-hmm. So what gym's he training out
He's
of?
up north. But that was the one. That's the one that I want. That's the one that I want next year.
Brilliant. Well, Mikey, it's been great having you on. Great having a good catch up, and all the best for your brother tonight.
I asked to be on this time round. I think you're smashing it, mate. Obviously, we spoke twice in the past, but this is the first time you spoke to the big punch in Michael Mckinson 2.0.
Thank you, mate.
Nice one.